Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Heel Turn, the number one podcast for everything WWE. You would have noticed someone differently sitting across from me today, and that is our good friend Jasper replacing Fraser today.
How are we doing, Liam?
I'm doing great. I haven't actually seen or heard from you about your thoughts about WrestleMania.
Yeah,
What did you think about it? Because obviously me and Fraser, we addressed our thoughts about it on the episode after WrestleMania.
I thought a lot of people were hating immensely. I felt like there was a lot to love, and you can't be too quick to hate on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the main event of night 2 was disgraceful.
I think the main event of night one
was
saved
cinema.
Sort of
saved the whole
night
WrestleMania,
one, especially.
Yeah, I felt like night 2, the whole thing leading up to it until the main event was phenomenal too.
Yeah.
So if you had the night 1 main eventing night 2, that's like a perfect show. That's
100%.
Probably the best WrestleMania I would have watched if it was structured like that.
Yeah, I agree for sure. But I guess they just wanted to sort of send John Cena off on his last WrestleMania.
He's gonna ruin wrestling, man.
I will. Yeah, he will, and we will get into that right this second because we're going to be going through our Backlash predictions this weekend. And yeah, the first one we're getting into is the new undisputed WWE champion, 17-time world champion John Cena against the Viper, Randy Orton. Should be a good one.
Yeah, this will be magical. This is nostalgia at an ultimate level. I think, it's so strange to me to see John Cena as the heel with the belt and Randy Orton as the face.
Yeah.
Telling the crowd that, he's the one that knows how to parent kids, and John Cena, the heel, saying...
Exactly.
I've been parenting your kids, that's why I don't have kids.
We spoke about it last week. John Cena randomly picking out a 6-year-old, calling his dad a loser.
He's got no chill at the moment.
Yeah,
and I love it. John Cena's... That's why I love it.
That's what he's planning to do. He wants to do that because that's how he's going to ruin wrestling, and that's how it's gonna fall out. But I think Randy could win it, but I don't think he will. And I think John Cena will retain. But it's not going to be clean, obviously.
Yeah,
just like the Cody match.
I just think you can't take the belt off John Cena a month after you've started a retirement tour.
The retirement tour would be over by then.
Yeah.
I think there's no point.
I don't think Randy's going to lose any fans or any, aura from this loss. I think he'll lose in a way that's respectable.
Yeah. I still hope it's a really good match. Obviously these two have a lot of history. A lot of championships between them, 17 and 14.
I saw a TikTok this morning that WWE posted, and it was every RKO that John Cena has ever taken from Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And I was a minute 40 of just RKOs. I was just watching. I was like...
Yeah. Yeah. A few more get added to the list, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
But, no, I have John retaining
I have
this
John
one.
as well. Who do you reckon is going to interfere, I guess?
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother sort of debacle, I guess, because I think Travis Scott at WrestleMania was sort of just a one. It was sort of just a one-time thing there at WrestleMania. You'd think, because obviously this one will be the main event, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. Obviously The Rock won't come back until later on, which sort of makes the whole John Cena heel turn a little bit more of a debate because The Rock's not really getting involved as much anymore. Sort of just was there at the chamber and then just went away. I don't know. I that's something I never really thought about. I don't see a sort of run-in or someone interrupting the match. I just think it will be a good main event.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest.
I don't think... I'm agreeing with you. I don't think there's a run-in, but I don't think he's winning clean either, obviously. I think...
For sure.
Whether it's a steel chair, ref shenanigans, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think Randy's hometown...
Yeah.
I think Randy's family, friends in the front rows.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised if Cena lays a punch on someone.
Yeah.
Obviously it'll work, but...
Also, I don't think there will be an interruption by anyone because literally they've had the Raw after WrestleMania, then they had their little altercation on SmackDown after that. But in this whole sort of battle on the mic in the lead up to it, it's literally just been Randy Orton and John Cena. There hasn't been anyone else sort of trying to get involved in any other way. So it's just solely the two of them, which I think at Backlash it'll just be the two of them, and nothing else will come in the way. Next one we have, this one will be a banger. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's really the first time that Lyra is going to have a massive title defense. Obviously, she's had a few sort of smaller ones on Raw against Dakota and Bayley and Raquel Rodriguez, but now she's really got, trouble on her hands with Becky Lynch here. What do you reckon about this one?
This is big. This is the first women's mid-card title to appear on a WWE PLE.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic for the women's division.
And it fantastic for Lyra Valkyria as well.
It's pretty ominous that Becky Lynch is the reason that it's gained this traction.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, no doubt, whether you love her or hate her, like, she's a legend of the business, and she's going to get the best out of Lyra.
Do you think that will be a reason? Do you think she'll retain?
I think Lyra will retain.
I agree.
There's one looming question mark in the background, and that's obviously Becky attacked Bayley at WrestleMania, and where is that going to go? So whether it's, I don't know, Bayley's music plays, maybe Bayley doesn't come out. Maybe it's some sort of distraction.
I think this sort of rivalry and matchup needs an interruption or a run-in, and that's where Bayley
just deserves
will come
longer.
in.
Like, it doesn't deserve, because I don't think Lyra should lose.
Yeah.
And I don't think Becky should lose, I guess, the rivalry. She might lose the match, but I don't think she'll lose the rivalry. Like, it's still going, I reckon.
As soon as Becky Lynch attacked Lyra at the Raw after WrestleMania, we all had a feeling that this would happen at Backlash. And then at the time, I said Becky, but I also said last week that we finally got to see Lyra on the mic. Her whole time as the IC champion, she's never been on the mic until the last 2 weeks against Becky Lynch, and she's really handled it really well. The crowd's gotten around her, which I think she's bringing a lot of confidence into this match. But like I said, this will be her first real big title defense, and I think if she can get a massive scalp over Becky Lynch, it just proves that she deserves to keep this championship.
I agree. Her work on the mic has been really successful over the last couple of weeks. Like, she was on this path. It's a not very good path through WWE history of champions that were given championships early in their career. The name that comes to my mind straight away is Jack Swagger. Obviously awful career, got titles early, could never speak for himself. Lyra was obviously not as bad, but was going on that track of not being able to speak, not being able to create a storyline. So this is big, and she put in some really good work.
Yeah, especially in NXT as well. Before it as well.
So hopefully this comes to fruition, and I think I think Lyra, I think she'll retain, but I don't think this rivalry will be over.
I think Becky will try and do something devious here. But also Becky hasn't really, this is her first singles match since facing Liv Morgan in that steel cage match last year at Raw, where Liv Morgan retained. So this is her first singles match in a good 10, 11 months. So she's not as, I don't think she'll be as ready for it. Yeah.
She's a professional though, so I back her in.
Yeah, that's the other thing. She's got the experience factor over Lyra here.
They'll put on a good match. I think this is sneaky match of the night areas.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon if I got to pick the match card, I'd give these guys the new ball, I think.
Yeah.
Give them the opening match of the night.
Because remember when we were speaking about it, excuse me. Remember we were speaking about it when you were on here on episode 2, and they had that tag match where it was going to be Lyra and Bayley against Liv and Raquel, and we were speaking about how the women's IC title wasn't going to be featured at WrestleMania, and Lyra wasn't going to get a title defense at WrestleMania. I think now I understand why they've done it, and I'm glad that they've gone down this path. Because I really like the rivalry.
I agree. And I think in the long term, it's given the IC title more of a platform.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't have got this platform at WrestleMania, and now everyone's calling this has match of the night.
Yeah.
Capabilities. Sure. I think it brings a question to the booking of the United States women's mid-card title.
Yeah.
Because if they knew they had a long-term plan for this one, why are they not putting Chelsea Green on WrestleMania?
100%.
That's where the question, arises. But I I have very high expectations for this match. I think Lyra and Becky will put on a show for us.
Yep, for sure. The new Intercontinental Champion. He's got a title defense over Penta, but now they're going and running it back at Backlash here. Same Fraser's said it a few times. Penta, like he's still new, and I think we all agree that Dom will definitely retain.
I think Dom will retain. I just hope it's like a clean victory. I hope Dom gets one.
Yeah.
Obviously, JD was the cause of his.
There will be
victory.
some sort of Judgment Day.
I'm sure, but hopefully he can get one for himself, just to solidify himself a little bit. Like, I love the heel heat. I love winning like a heel.
Yeah.
They've done it fantastically for years, and I think Dom's the perfect guy to continue the heel tactics.
Yeah.
But I also want him to get one for himself. And Penta, it's probably not his time to win the IC title. There will be a time.
Not yet. There will be eventually.
There will be a time, but this is probably not it. And this is the perfect time to give him a clean victory because Penta's not going to lose the hype. Like, let's be real.
No way. No way.
Like, he's so over. Everyone loves a luchador that can do amazing flips and tricks off the top ropes. And
yeah.
His moveset's amazing. So I don't see him losing any popularity in a loss. So I'm really hoping the WWE capitalize and I hope he wins clean.
Yeah. For the Judgment Day in this match as well, something will happen and something will go down. We're still getting hints of Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, that tension within the Judgment Day and the clubhouse, at Raw. We see it every single week. I think this week Dom was like, handle AJ Styles. We will get to AJ in a minute, but he said, handle AJ Styles for me. And Finn was like, oh, so now you want me to clean up your dirty work? And then he's like,
joking, buddy.
I'm joking, buddy. So we're getting these hints. So either Finn costs Dom the championship, which I would be really down to see as well, or something else out of the blue happens. Like maybe JD turns on Dom as well to join Finn because JD and Dom are very closely connected as well. Oh, sorry, JD and Finn are very closely connected as well. So it'll be interesting to see with this one.
Did you see AJ Styles call Finn Balor Prince, his old New Japan?
I did.
Yeah, that's cool throwback.
I also want to speak about, did you see on Raw, so AJ Styles walks into the clubhouse saying that no matter what happens next, I'm coming after the Intercontinental Championship. Do you see him fumble? He's like, I'm coming after the Intercontinental. Oh, I'm so flustered, I can't even speak. I thought that was really funny. But either way, after this match, AJ will be coming after the IC title. But I also want to see him in John Cena's retirement tour. Maybe that can lead to something as well.
Maybe Dom gets over AJ, but then AJ might win a battle royal or something, or a gauntlet match to get him into Cena's avenue. We'll look at that down the line, obviously, but I'd love to see AJ Styles and Cena run it back. Yeah,
100%. The fourth match, Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
I'm actually excited.
I'm excited for this one.
I'm excited.
Because it could either be really good or it could either be really bad, or it could just... personally, what I see happening, Gunther absolutely destroys Pat McAfee to the point where the ref's just going to have to ring the bell and it's going to have to stop. But then Gunther will obviously want to go back for more. There could be some bloodshed here.
I think there's room for a squash match in WWE that is entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's quick to hate on a squash match. As a wrestling community, we're so judgmental. But a squash match could be good when it puts Gunther back on the right direction. Like, obviously, his loss to Jey isn't fantastic for his future plans. And he needs one to just cement himself back as the big monster heel of the Monday Night Raw men's division. Yeah.
Even though I think Gunther will absolutely destroy Pat, I still want to see like some good spots from Pat as well. Obviously, he wrestled Austin Theory at WrestleMania 38. I remember he did a moonsault off the top rope against Austin Theory, and then suplex him off the top rope as well. So I do want to see something from Pat McAfee here as well. Obviously, Michael Cole will be very biased on the mic as well, and getting into it too.
It should be a good story to tell.
Yeah.
I think, Pat obviously retired from the NFL to actually pursue WWE. So I saw something the other day where he was on the plane and he was sitting next to one of the WWE refs, and the ref was telling Pat that they don't hire people past 30 usually that are new to the business.
Yeah.
And he was 29, retired from the NFL. He was like, I want to pursue this. And obviously, this is his big moment besides WrestleMania 38.
Yeah.
Especially against such a marquee talent like Gunther.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good to see him have a couple of spots, but I think he'll get squashed, and I think he'll get squashed convincingly.
I agree. Unfortunately, Gunther will probably get the better of Pat in this one. The last match of the night we have for the United States Championship, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. I'm just going to get straight to this point. You can rule out Drew and Damian Priest out of this 100% already, because both of these guys should be in the conversation for the World Championship. Like they're too good in this business for the United States Championship. You know what I'm saying?
I'd put LA Knight in that kind of division too now. I think his work on the mic in this rivalry, but also over the last 2 years,
his match with
phenomenal.
AJ sort of
like
powered it a little bit more. With Jacob, yeah.
This is probably one of the next bigger things in the WWE to look forward to. LA Knight with a world title on his around his shoulder would be fantastic. I think he could put in some real anti-hero work against some of the big talents in the WWE. Even if you revisit a Damian Priest or a Drew McIntyre when he's in the world title scene, we'll look down the line to that.
Yeah.
But I think there's no one to beat Jacob Fatu here that has any long-term plans with the United States Championship. Exactly.
For all I care, Jacob could have the United States Championship for 600 days plus, and I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't never complain, because that means he has a match every pay-per-view.
Because he's got that talent, and he's unlike Penta. He's been here for the good part of a year now, but he's got so much talent that you can't not have him as a champion, and he will in the future. He's probably definitely going to main event WrestleMania a couple times as well.
I'm sure there's some more plans down the line, because for his brother. His brother's signed in WWE, I think, or is a massive rumored signing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's
plans.
Is that Zilla Fatu?
Yeah.
And there's other members of his family and Roman's family and the Usos family around that have been signed but haven't been enacted into the business just yet, into any storylines. So I think there's long-term plans there too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So if there's a faction that builds again, a United States Championship around Jacob Fatu's belt would elevate it straight away.
Yeah, I know we've sort of moved past the whole bloodline story, but even giving Jimmy Uso a shot at the US title so he can sort of get a singles title under his belt. Not that he's gonna, win it off Jacob Fatu, but just to keep the sort of that storyline going as well. Because at the moment I don't see anyone in the business that could potentially take this title off Jacob Fatu yet. I can't see it yet.
That's the one thing with putting a mid-card title on the big rookie that has so much talent and everyone knows is going to be a future world champion. It was like putting it on Gunther, the Intercontinental title. Literally held it for 600 days. Yeah. And you couldn't even imagine someone beating him. Even Sami Zayn beating him, everyone was like, seriously?
Yeah, I know.
So hopefully it doesn't get to that point with Fatu. Hopefully there's a worthy contender that comes up.
Yeah.
But again, I'm glad they got the IC title off Braun Breaker the way they did.
Yeah.
Because the same thing could have happened to him very, very easily. It's a trap that WWE have fallen into recently, and I don't blame them. It gives consistent limelight to the guy, and it gives them the experience to build on and become the future world champion.
Yeah.
But there's elements to it.
Because Drew and Damian Priest they had their own rivalry, but they've been brought into this United States scene.
Just been grabbed.
So it's not it's understandable why LA Knight is going for it again, but I don't think he will win it. But yeah, Drew and Priest have just been brought into it, so I don't see them winning. The other thing I want to talk about is Solo Sikoa, because he will definitely have to appear in this somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he attacked I think it was Damian Priest last week during the match. We thought someone was going to... it was the match with LA Knight and Damian Priest. I thought Drew would interfere, or Jacob, something would happen first. But Solo was the first one to appear. So either he appears to help Jacob or does something that ruffles Jacob's feathers.
Yeah, I think there's either that avenue that something will happen, or there's almost the no action is an action from WWE.
Yeah.
Like WrestleMania, everyone expected Solo to come out.
And
everyone expected, like, maybe it's Solo cost Jacob Fatu, and then that's how they set up those two. But WWE might pull the pin again and be like, well, maybe we don't send Solo out there. That surprises the people in their own. And we get a clean finish and Jacob wins. Yeah. Or maybe it's after the bell.
Because it's his first title defense as well.
Yeah.
So maybe Jacob needs that sort of confidence to just
even if it's
cleanly.
just a destructive victory.
Yeah.
Like he might moonsault all three of these dudes.
That's what I'm
stack
hoping.
Them up and just pin them all. That'd be the coolest thing ever.
I'm hoping there's some wild finish where he just goes all out and just does.
Like imagine he had all three in the middle. Just one rope to the next rope to the next rope. Bang, three moonsaults. Stack them.
But I don't see Jacob losing. I think he's definitely winning this, 100%. Next one, it's not confirmed, but I just don't know where it fits in at all. Jey Uso and Logan Paul.
This, a week ago, seemed like the biggest confirmed thing ever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when Paul Heyman came out at the start of Raw with Jey Uso in the ring, a part of me was like, there is no way that Logan Paul's the next Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah,
I got tricked myself.
I thought Logan
wrestling
would come
fan.
out.
I was like, there is no way Paul Heyman's about to announce Logan Paul. But this really got put on the back seat.
Yeah.
At Raw, which I'm okay with because Raw was fantastic this week. That main event was as good as it gets.
Yeah.
We should touch on the match because Jey Uso was fantastic, but we'll touch on that later. But with this one in particular, I think Logan Paul, after Raw off air, there was footage of a lucky sucker punched or one lucky punch to Jey Uso while he was high-fiving fans and whatnot. And that's kind of kept the rivalry ignited, which is good. But that's where it leaves us a bit confused as to whether it's going to appear on this pay-per-view, whether it's down the line.
Yeah.
But if this were to go ahead, I think Jey retains.
Yeah. I see Jey holding the title for like maybe a good part of a couple months, maybe, and then maybe something happens at SummerSlam. I think he holds it at least up until then, where something will happen there. I like how they're including Logan Paul in this World Championship picture though, because I think Logan Paul, he's obviously got the talent. He's got the talent on the mic as well. So I'm happy that they're doing this. But I didn't really get it at first, but they've sort of developed it a little bit more. Like especially Logan Paul like attacking Jey Uso a couple times like backstage as well. So he's got the better of him a little bit there as well. But are you hoping to see it at Backlash?
I am, because I feel like the card needs just like a kick of something. And Logan Paul, like I love Logan Paul. I think he's phenomenal in the ring. I consistently watch his matches and go, wow.
Yeah.
Like that match at SummerSlam last year with LA Knight.
Yeah.
The moonsault. That springboard moonsault off the top rope. I've watched wrestling for over a decade for sure.
That's as good as it gets.
I've never seen that, and it's not often as a wrestling fan you are surprised to see a move that you've never seen before.
It's almost as if you need Logan Paul on every single PLE.
I'm with that, and a lot of people, the traditional wrestling fan, doesn't want to see Logan Paul because, but it's gotten to a point where he's undeniable, as Karrion Kross would say, Killer Kross. He's undeniable.
Yeah,
and he deserves world title shots. He probably doesn't deserve to win this particular matchup, but I think he'll be in the world title scene for years to come, and I'm ecstatic about that.
Yeah. What else happened on Raw was the faction where Paul Heyman, like we said, went out and spoke to Jey Uso. But can we just leave Seth Rollins out of it for a minute? Because obviously Jey was accusing Paul of betraying Roman, but then Paul delivered something really good where he said that he was in the right. So
it just adds another element to something that we were almost so sure of. Like, it was always Paul Heyman for years has been the scumbag that just betrays people, betrayed Punk years ago, betrayed Brock years ago, has betrayed everyone pretty much in the business, betrayed ECW for all I care. But he finally had real motivation. He finally had, maybe he is in the right. And that just adds another element to this story that is, this is like the Bloodline story of the last 4 years. This is building up to be like, not necessarily yet on par, but it's building up to have like that long-term booking.
Yeah.
This faction could lead Seth Rollins into a match with Punk down the line, with Roman down the line. The Roman one would be magical.
Yeah.
It could be anyone. This could lead to Cena, could lead to Rock.
Yeah.
Like, this has so much potential. And obviously Braun Breaker, the up-and-coming man in the corner of Paul Heyman, the ultimate professional, and then Seth Rollins, I think is the best in-ring worker in the company and the most professional guy you could work with. This will do absolute magic to Braun Breaker's career.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
we'll be looking back at this for years to come and be like, this is the moment where Braun Breaker became the 10-time world champion.
Yeah, because Paul's helped out so many of these huge stars before that it's like Rollins doesn't need Paul Heyman, but having Braun there, and having Paul over his shoulder, teaching him the ways, Braun's going to be massive in the years to come with this. But what also happened was the match with Jey Uso, where we had Sami Zayn come out. I didn't know if Sami Zayn was going to be back on Raw this week after what happened last week. But he came out, attacked Braun Breaker, and then we had CM Punk come out, which was even better.
That was a big pop.
Yeah. Because, I don't know, there was vision also after Logan Paul sucker punched Jey Uso, where CM Punk and Sami Zayn rushed to the aid of Jey Uso to help him out. So whether
it really is
that
building up
little,
some sort of 3-man, like
whether
6-man
that
tag
little
coming up.
alliance forms against something in this faction as well. Obviously, last week we went through a few names that could come up in this faction that could join. I think I said Becky Lynch, and I said either Austin Theory as well, potentially.
I love the Austin Theory.
Yeah.
But
that ain't a theory. It's a fact.
It's a fact. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. But I think there's multiple options. I like the Becky Lynch option in the sense that like it adds a women's kind of way to it. I think that could be a potential fourth member.
Yeah.
But I think Austin Theory is the best option.
Yeah.
I just think he like, if you think back to Evolution, you think of Batista, Randy Orton, Flair, and Triple H. Like, between Randy and Batista, like, you've got instant comparisons with Braun and Austin Theory.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Punk, like, once again, he's cost Rollins another chance at the World Heavyweight Championship with that match. So, yeah, because I thought this was just going to be a normal main event between Seth Rollins and Jey Uso, but you have both Sami and CM Punk coming out and interfering. Obviously, the CM Punk and Seth Rollins rivalry is going to continue, which is really good because it's been the best rivalry of the last couple months.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just want to give some love to Jey Uso. That was the best match of his career.
Yeah.
Singles match by far. I thought the Gunther Jey Uso match wasn't amazing at WrestleMania.
It wasn't.
It was probably
really wasn't.
Due to Jey Uso's rather lackluster ring abilities. It was probably one of the better singles matches of his career.
Yeah.
But this match right here, I don't know if it was because of Seth and his incredible ability to just get the best out of people.
Gunther's not as athletic, as Seth, and obviously Seth, he's an experienced campaigner.
He's the perfect guy. If you think about the guy you want to elevate someone, Seth is the perfect guy to put on an absolute fantastic match.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I can't give enough credit to Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what this alliance looks like in the future. Because at the Raw after WrestleMania, I thought that something was going to happen at Backlash with this. Like, I thought either it would be Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns and CM Punk or something in like a 2-man tag match or something like that.
We might not see Roman Reigns for months.
Yeah.
It just means a return could be crazy. And the classic thing that Roman Reigns used to say was, when there's no wise man, that's the end of the trouble chief.
Yeah.
So when he does return, maybe he's off television because when he does return, it's something else.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not the big dog, but
yeah, for sure.
It'll be something.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Yeah. The next one we're going to look at is the recent releases where we had Braun Strowman, Dakota, one of your faves, Dakota Kai.
This is
Cora Jade and Shayna Baszler. Yeah.
Like, shit. I'm glad Shayna Baszler's gone, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was tired of watching her wrestle.
I think her last match was in that Gauntlet six women tag match for the number one contenders for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
I really just think, like, how is this going to affect Pure Fusion Collect's legacy? Like,
yeah.
Where do they go from here?
Exactly.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst factions I've ever seen.
But even Dakota Kai, like, it's almost as if EO becoming world champion now EO is looked as the singular champion with no one by her side now because Dakota's not there.
And there's no Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, they're nowhere to be seen. I think their return will be good for the women's tag title division.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's looking really bleak at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially with the belts on Liv and Raquel and Liv's in Hollywood.
Yeah, I know.
So that might give the Kabuki Warriors time to get healthy and get ready to go. But without them around, there's really no damage control.
Yeah.
Which means what really is Dakota
Because, yeah,
Kai?
like Io Sky, like she's no longer going to be representing damage control. Like, there's nothing there with it now. So I am disappointed that Dakota's gone.
I'm under the impression that Dakota Kai will go to AEW and become one of the biggest women's wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
And will come back and win the women's WWE Championship.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's not the be all and end all, but for the current time, yeah, it's a little bit upsetting.
It's disappointing.
Also, big Braun Strowman, he was involved in this whole new bloodline saga as well with LA Knight going after the US Championship, and then his final match with Jacob Fatu for that number one contenders for the US title. You know, now Braun Strowman is nowhere to be seen.
He was doing amazing work to put guys over. He didn't deserve this, but
yeah,
the rumor out of it is that Strowman's contract was too big in comparison to the creative vision they had for him. They didn't have anything for him.
Yeah.
So I can understand from WWE's perspective to get more talent in that they would have better plans for.
Yeah.
They've got a clear Strowman salary.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, but I liked how they involved him in that whole story just recently, but it was sort of getting to the point where it was just going on and on and on. Like it happened at Saturday night's main event, you know, like back in December with Jacob Fatu, and then they even had a match in April right before WrestleMania. So I feel like it did get dragged along a bit too much, which maybe sort of contributed to him getting released because they couldn't really find anything else for him to do. Because obviously he made that move from Raw to SmackDown at the end of last year. So maybe we thought, oh, this is a new beginning for Braun Strowman. But
it was the
apparently
beginning of
not.
The end.
Yeah.
Beginning of the end for Braun Strowman. How crazy is it that the last member of the Wyatt family in WWE at the moment is Eric Rowan? And he hasn't been on television for how long?
I agree. Yeah.
It's fascinating. But Cora Jade deserves some love here too. Like, phenomenal in-ring talent, phenomenal work in NXT, and it's a shame she had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a disappointing one, but it's the business and these things happen.
Yeah. Right, now we're going to be ranking 2024 PLE'S from S tier to fail, really, in the F tier. The first one we had was the Royal Rumble of 2024. Cody Rhodes, the men's Royal Rumble winner. Bayley, the women's Royal Rumble winner. And then there was also the match with Logan Paul and Kevin Owens as well. And then that match between Roman Reigns, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton as well, where Roman retained.
What are your thoughts on this?
I like the men's Royal Rumble one because it set up the perfect, like the greatest WrestleMania of all time, which is why I think it was really great that Cody won. And also Bayley, like, she was able to separate herself. Like, this Royal Rumble win propelled her to separate from Damage Control as well, because obviously there was a little bit of tension there. I didn't mind it personally.
At the time, I didn't mind it. Looking back, I think it's pretty average.
I thought this year's Royal Rumble was a bit better than last year's.
Yeah, that's what's leading me to think this was pretty average.
If it's average, I'm thinking of putting it
C. I think B.
I think I'm going to go with B.
I think B too. Like, it's not amazing, but there's definitely worse pay-per-views going around.
Yeah, I agree. Next one we had here in Australia, the Elimination Chamber, Perth. Our man Fraser, who's not with us today, went to the Elimination Chamber last year. We had Australia's own Rhea Ripley defending the championship against Nia Jax.
Pretty much Australia's own Tiffany Stratton in the Elimination Chamber. 100%. She was popular.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously Becky Lynch won the chamber, which I think at the time we all sort of predicted. And also Drew McIntyre won, which was also really good in the men's elimination chamber match when obviously Randy Orton RKO's Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And then Logan Paul comes back in with the brass knuckles.
That cost him.
I didn't mind this one as well. I just think for the matches itself that happened, I'm probably thinking around the B range again.
I think if I had to say, probably B. And if it wasn't compared to the Royal Rumble, I think it would be the high end of B, but I think it's a touch under.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in B, but then again, like, Fraser would have loved to go through this today because he actually went and got to experience it. But the next thing is like, because obviously WWE is coming back to Perth this year. It's going to be at an arena instead. Yeah, it's going to be at an arena instead.
Arena's better for it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to put it in B.
Excited to have Raw and SmackDown as well, though.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
We will. The next one we have is night 1 of WrestleMania 40. The main event for this one was
the tag
absolutely phenomenal. Greatest tag match of all time.
Can we just do it? Like, just put it in S.
I'm pretty sure we know what we're going to do here. And
might as well do it again, too.
Yeah. Night 2 of WrestleMania.
That was
greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Greatest WrestleMania of all time. I had goosebumps for the last 15 minutes of night 2.
Yeah, the main event was
like I was
the greatest
watching it with
thing
my
ever.
brother and my dad and just screaming. Like, my dad's the biggest Undertaker fan ever.
Yeah.
And, like, he's never a screamer watching the wrestling. And he just hit him with, like, I was in my room watching it with my brother, and Dad was down the hall, and he was, like, slightly ahead of us.
Yeah.
And he never yells, and we just heard a massive yell, and we were like, what the fuck? Like, this could be anything.
The Undertaker.
And then, like, me and Jerry saw it, and we're like, bang. Like,
yeah.
It was perfection. And, like, I'd have so many stories like that.
Yeah, and a few title changes the match before the night 2 main event. Obviously, Bayley defeating Io Sky, which we all loved at the time. We also had Logan Paul before they're defending it. Or I guess some of the other viral moments was I Show Speed in the Prime bottle as well, which was also
fantastic.
Actually another funny one to
and
see
like
as
even
well.
Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre was good. The cash in.
Yeah.
Like everything was good about this WrestleMania. Like
yeah, you couldn't fault it. However you looked at it, you couldn't fault it.
S tier. That's as easy as it gets. That would be the easiest Magnum we put on the board.
And unfortunately, one of the greatest title reigns of all time for Roman Reigns. Acknowledge the tribal chief. The next one we have was Backlash. I think I'm going to put this... I'll love to hear what you're saying, but I want to put it in A.
I want to put it in A too.
The crowd was unbelievable.
The crowd
got behind Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles for that main event, and also Jey Uso's entrance as well. It was unbelievable. I'm going to put an A.
A as well. I think
Backlash 2024.
That AJ Styles chant is like
up
there with one of the.
If you go back and watch Cody's entrance, like when everyone went
the Woe review,
whoa, that
Whoa.
one was huge. I never heard anything as big as that. The next one is King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia.
Average.
Not the greatest. It was all right. Obviously, we had Liv Morgan defeating Becky Lynch to win the Women's World Championship. We had Sami Zayn defending the IC title as well. against Chad. I think was it Chad Gable and Bronson Reed? I think it might have been.
I think it was.
Yeah, and then obviously the main event was actually pretty good with Logan. I mean, like we said before, Logan Paul, any match, you're not going to be unimpressed.
It was good, but it was just average.
Yeah.
Like, as a show. Like, you don't remember a whole lot coming out of this show being like...
For sure.
That's it.
I think I'm going to put it in C.
Yeah, I back it. Like,
it wasn't totally bad.
The tournaments, they both went on to...
Yeah.
You know, win their respective world titles, but you don't think of those moments and think, oh, the month before was amazing. It just wasn't.
I agree, for sure. The next one we had was Clash at the Castle, where we had Drew McIntyre against Damian Priest in Drew's hometown. He thought he was going to get the fairy tale finish, and then CM Punk interfered as a referee, which was actually really funny.
That was really funny. And they just did it so well. It felt so natural. Yeah, no, Jesus. That's so grim. That's so bad. Hashtag no yeet. Oh my God. That's so bad.
Really, really well. Really well.
Really lots.
Oh boy. Okay, where were we? Clash at the Castle, right. And then the I Quit match as well between Cody and AJ Styles. Also in the lead up to this one, we had I just can't focus now. We had AJ Styles pretend to retire.
The old Mark Henry.
And then attack Cody Rhodes after that, which was really good. And it set up the Backlash. No, not the Backlash. The Clash at the Castle match as well. And I really liked that it was an I Quit match. Like, we don't see a lot of those. And obviously, I think the crowd got behind them in that one. Because obviously they went backstage into the into the timekeeper and everything area. Or not timekeeper, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand. But I have a big problem with I Quit matches. The babyface is never going to lose an I Quit match.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have... Especially, it's always the face of the company. It was always Cena growing up. And it was just, like, Cena's never going to say, I quit. His whole thing's never give up. Like...
Yeah. But I actually got up at 3 a.m. to watch this one. And I still thought that they went with it really well. Like, even like the handcuffs they involved with Cody and then escaping the handcuffs. And then the end with the steel steps as well.
This was the pay-per-view where Damian Priest handcuffed his leg to the...
the
rope anyway.
Yeah. But
that was scary stuff, actually, all things considered.
I'm going to put this one in B as well.
I think B. It was...
Yeah.
It's just the hard time of the year where everything... Like, it's the WrestleMania hangover.
You're not going to see too many championship changes, especially at something like Clash at the Castle. And this year they've got Clash in Paris, which the crowd will be unbelievable in there as well.
I'm so excited.
That's why you need AJ Styles there at Clash in Paris. That's why Clash in Paris, I want to see AJ Styles, John Cena.
Absolutely.
It would be perfect.
It would be magical.
Money in the Bank. On this night, we had Drew McIntyre win the Money in the Bank contract and then cash in against Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Also, what was a little mistake in the Damian Priest and Seth Rollins one, we saw Rollins pin Priest. Drew didn't kick out. The botch. We're all like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And then Drew cashing in, losing again because of Punk.
I want to put this in F. I'm very hard on this. I
don't think the men's Money in the Bank match was as good. And it was kind of short.
Such a waste of the biggest accessory in WWE history. Like, that is how you elevate someone.
Yeah.
And, like, we waited... Like, Tiffany Stratton's cash in, its payoff was so good, but then we had the men's match where the payoff was that night, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, that rivalry between Punk and Drew was at an all-time high before that.
Yeah.
Like, they were raging. Like, that was a steaming ball of fire already.
We also had the 6-man tag match between Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton against the Bloodline.
So forgettable.
Yeah.
This pay-per-view was so unbelievably below average.
Yeah.
And the build-up was, like, good.
Yeah, for sure.
So average. And Braun Breaker...
Because this was Jacob Fatu's first PLE. So...
Yeah.
I'm not going to take anything away from the new Bloodline and where they were at that stage, but I wasn't... Yeah. wasn't the biggest fan of it. The whole Yeet versus Yeah during the match, the men's Money in the Bank match, that was all right between Jey Uso and LA Knight. But
something has to be F tier.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to
well
put it in
this.
F. Next one, we had SummerSlam. And this was pretty much the high of the new bloodline, where they were starting to look irresistible, looking like an irresistible force. And then we had the return of the Tribal Chief in the main event, where we had Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa as well. But even, I think we remember SummerSlam mainly from Roman Reigns' return, because it had 150 million views across social media as well. But even some of, I thought the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley World Championship match was so good. LA Knight, Logan Paul match.
There were some really good matches on this card. And then obviously the viral moment. This is A tier for me.
Yeah.
It's not quite WrestleMania, but top of A tier for me.
And even Seth Rollins as well, being the guest referee between Punk and McIntyre as well.
Just a breath of fresh air after Money in the Bank.
Yeah, because obviously SummerSlam, second biggest event of the year. There are obviously going to be a few title changes. Obviously Logan Paul, his wife Nina was pregnant at the time, so we all sort of knew that he had to go away, and LA Knight was going to win here. Nia Jax against Bayley as well. I thought Tiffany Stratton was going to cash in right there at SummerSlam.
There were so many chances. Well, I'm sure we'll continue as these pay-per-views go on. But there were so many chances for Tiffany Stratton to have really unique cash-ins.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, I'm happy to put
I'm happy with it there as well.
Next one after this, we had Bash in Berlin. I didn't really like this one, if I'm being honest.
It's just okay.
Because I didn't get the Cody versus KO when they were both as a baby
as
face.
friends, and then the whole weakness of
Cody's knee.
I just can't finish him off because he's injured. That's weak as piss. And
yeah.
It did set up the long term KO.
Yeah.
And it's sad that he's injured now, because the payoff would have been amazing with Randy at WrestleMania, but
yeah, and what was it? The intergender match between, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley and Liv and Dom. I thought at that time, for where the storyline was, that was a good match to have there. The actual match itself, I think we all knew Rhea Ripley was gonna win anyway.
Yeah, the Terror Twins.
But I wasn't solely convinced on this one. And obviously Gunther versus Randy Orton. Gunther had just won the World Championship.
It was almost like a rematch because of King of the Ring.
And it was in his hometown as well. So he wasn't going to lose.
Exactly.
But
it was almost they had to tick a box, because the match at King of the Ring, the ending was actually both shoulders were down, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines. But they had to just tick off a box.
Yes, I'm probably going to put it in C, because it wasn't a total bust, but because the crowd was still pretty good. But I'm going to put it in C. Next one after this, Bad Blood. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm just going to put it in S.
S tier.
It was unbelievable. The
match of the year.
One of the it's so close to. Which one do you think is the match of the year? Punk versus McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, or the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania? Because it's
hard to put the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania as it's, to me, it's it's not a match. It's it's a story, and it was the ending of a magical, beautiful story.
Yeah.
Whereas Bad Blood was just a match. Two guys that absolutely hated each other went into a cell and absolutely obliterated each other.
Because McIntyre actually, for real, started bleeding. And he had to get stitches in his head.
These spots were
everything.
It was almost a breath of fresh air to have blood in a match that warranted blood.
Yeah.
I'm sick. There's no point having blood in every match, just to show that, this is pretty fierce.
Yeah.
But this was a rivalry that built up for months in a trilogy. Deserved.
It deserved that sort of match. Hell in a Cell. You couldn't get anything better.
Phenomenal.
And also, it was Roman Reigns' first match since losing his title at WrestleMania, where he had Cody Rhodes as a partner against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. And Jimmy Uso returned in this match as well.
The build up to that was
amazing.
Do you remember the thing at the football the NFL ground, like the
Yeah.
high school. Yeah, that promo was
When they
cool
started
as.
playing like I Am the Storm.
Yeah.
That song. Yeah. Yeah, that was that was a good little moment as
The
well
build-up's so cool.
because they needed that. Cody and Roman, they needed that moment where they need to establish a sense of trust between the both of them, and so I really enjoyed that part of the whole lead up to that match, and I expected Roman and Cody to win, but I really loved how they put Jimmy Uso back at that point, because obviously we started to get the idea of Roman. He hasn't got anyone. He needs help, and now
they're gonna start coming back.
You sort of got it. Okay, Jimmy Uso, what's next? Well,
is it Jey?
You need
Jey
Jey coming. You need Sammy coming. Bad Blood was the start of this whole thing for a Bloodline versus Bloodline saga for the next 3 months. So, Bad Blood, S tier. I think it was nothing better. Crown Jewel was pretty shit.
Let's just say I hope the Crown Jewel Championship does not make its way down under.
I agree. Because I did not get that
They're
at
just
all.
so dumb, man.
And the championships, like, they're so freaking huge. Like, if you see it on Cody's shoulder, it's like literally taking up everything.
But way to, like, tell the fans which title's more important. Like, we have 2 world titles that are supposed to be equally important.
Yeah.
Way to tell them which one means more.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Cody, you're the boss, bro.
Yeah. I'm just going to say it. I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch this. I wish I had my sleep back.
You know what I did?
It was
I slept like a
stupid.
baby until 10 o'clock, and then I watched Santi's app.
Simple as that. Pretty happy with that.
I'm happy with that, unspoken.
And I think we can just end it right there. Saturday night's main event. I mean,
it was cool. Like, the idea's cool. This was the first one.
The only thing that I've got separating it from being an F is obviously the ending. Kevin Owens pile driving Cody, and maybe Chelsea Green winning the first Women's United States Championship. So I'm probably going to put it in C, because I think those are the 2 reasons why it's just making it over.
It didn't live up to the expectations. Everyone was very high on this.
Yeah.
Before it, it was unprecedented. That's why I guess it's almost like a Raw, the first Raw on Netflix, which it's almost like one of those occasions that it was like, oh, maybe because it's new, maybe it's a new thing. We're going to go really hard at it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm interested to what you'd say if we had to rank Raw on Netflix, the debut. Where would you put it on here?
Probably A.
Okay.
I'd say
match, Seth Rollins and Punk's match was really good.
I'd say A, but I would have put it S if they'd done Roman and Solo as the main event instead.
Yeah.
I get why it opened up the show, I guess, because The Rock was there at the start. But they should have left that one to be the main event, because that was the big story that came out of it.
They could have set up Rock and Roman there.
Yeah. Because that was no matter what happened, that was the end of the bloodline. Who was going to get the Ulafala? Should have been the main event. Roman at the end of Raw, because he's got the most aura out of everyone in the WWE. Imagine the closing the show of the debut of Raw on Netflix with the credits fading out of Roman just standing there with the Ulafala around his neck. It would have made for such a better
like
atmosphere.
directors Paul Levesque, I think C as well.
That's probably but that's Saturday night's main event. But the Raw after WrestleMania, I'd probably put an A if it was here as well. Next one we have Survivor Series War Games. I really like this one because the actual match of the men's War Games, I thought Bronson Reed was doing phenomenal. A tsunami off the top of the cage, Punk saving Roman, and then Jimmy Uso actually, there were literal, and Tungaloa, Jimmy Uso, Bronson Reed all sustained injuries during this match, putting their bodies on the line. This match had it all because people in this whole Bloodline family were willing to do
put
whatever
their body
it
on
takes.
the line for the product. I agree.
I know people were actually hating on the men's War Game match as well. But
they're hating on it because The Rock didn't come out and show that he was the puppet master.
But you can't fault the match itself. and even like Solo right at the end, Roman offering peace, Solo rejecting it, and then everyone hitting their spots. The amount of times I've rewatched that whole last bit because it was amazing. That's Yeah,
the one super kick from Jimmy, the super kick from Jey, the double super kick, then the haluva kick.
Go to sleep.
Spear.
Unbelievable. What do you think about the women's match in this one?
I thought it was the tale of many amazing individual performances, but they just didn't put it all together.
Yep.
Like Io Sky was phenomenal, like jumping off the cage with a garbage can.
Tiffany Stratton as well.
Yeah, like
there was just
storyline again like the tale of just individuals working amazing, but the product, like that's why storytelling is so important to this business, and that's why the men's one on that night just happened to be a lot better because they had a story.
Yeah.
And the women's one was rushed. I don't know if you remember the build up before that, but they built the women's one up like the week before.
I guess like Rhea Ripley sort of returning with the face mask on one of the Raw episodes a while.
It's not enough.
And then Jade Cargill getting attacked as well before, and then Naomi, oh no, it was Bayley. Bayley took her place. Yeah. There was a whole speculation. Was it Bayley that attacked Jade Cargill? So there was that little bit of a build up, but it doesn't like compare to what they did with the Bloodline. But I'm probably gonna put it.
I think it's probably lower end of A, high end of B.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the men's match. I think A.
I think I'm gonna put it A as well.
Like it had a lot of storytelling aspects to it.
I think. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the lower end of A. Here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good list.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one as well.
Let us know in the comments if
what would you change? Yeah, tell us what you'd change, what you'd put higher.
And if you're going to change Money in the Bank, no. Otherwise, please comment. Please comment. Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap it up here on Heel Turn, episode 5. Thanks for coming in, Jasper.
Road to 20 episodes.
Yeah, I know. We're 5 down, 15 more to go. That's our goal at the moment, 20.
Episode 20 will be like WrestleMania.
Yeah, for us it will be. But yeah, go ahead, check us out on our various social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It'll all be in the description below. And more importantly, subscribe, because we've got so much more content coming your way, so much more engaging podcast clips. Obviously, we're uploading the clips to YouTube and Instagram and all of our social media platforms. So, yeah, please stay tuned, and we'll see you all next week.